So, I'm Debbie Thompson. I work with Kim Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Please pray for me, okay? She's a really good boss. She says that's right. So this is not something that I usually do, but here I am. And the topic tonight, Created Beautifully, God has a really sick sense of humor sometimes, I think, for me to be speaking tonight. But I have a few little notes, and I'm going to look at those. But I'm a miracle to be standing here in front of you talking about being created beautifully. Because quite a few years ago, all I wanted to do was die. I already had a plan. I was going to take my life. I didn't want to stick around anymore. But God had a different plan. And I'm so thankful now for that plan. And I always hated my body since I was little. I've always hated that I was taller than everybody else. My father was 6'6", my sons are 6'4", my mom was 5'11", so why I thought I would be short, I don't know. But so I've always hated that I'm really tall, and everybody always wanted to know, are you going to play basketball? I'm like, no, I'm not playing basketball. So as far back as I can remember, I've never really liked how I look. And I grew up in a family of 5 children. My father was not present when I came along. He had already left the scene. And so about that time, I think I began to think that I was a lot of trouble, that I was too much trouble, and that's why people didn't stay around, and that I didn't look good enough to hang around with. Crazy thinking, isn't it? And then after that, elementary school, and I got made fun of a lot in elementary school. I wasn't overweight in elementary school, but I was very tall and very, big, not like all the cute little petite girls. And so again, I thought, man, there must be something really wrong with me. It has to be me. Why am I like this? So this is all my fault. And at the age of 2, my brother Terry, who was 4 at the time, died in a very tragic fire. And of course, I don't have any memory of that. But I think part of that came along with my mom had to be sedated, of course, as any mother would have to be. But at that time, she was not available to me. And a 2-year-old doesn't understand, shh, don't wake up mother, don't bother mother. So again, I got that message, don't be too much trouble. Just, be in the background, don't be a lot of trouble. So moving on, and I think I may be going too fast, but I was sexually abused a couple times as a child, singular incidences, and one of them was a family member. But again, we didn't say anything because there was something wrong with me, and if there hadn't been something wrong with me, that wouldn't have happened. So that was really getting drilled into my head, I think by the enemy ultimately, because I think he's the one that lies to us all the time and kind of encourages stinking thinking. And so, went through that. And then I'm going to really fast forward. I got married as a junior in high school. I was a little baby, but I've been married 40 years come June, so still with the same guy. So thank you. It's a wonderful man, and I know God handpicked him to be in my life. I needed him, and he loves me, and it's unconditional. He doesn't care how I look, how I act. Well, maybe sometimes he cares how I act, but most of the time. And we have 2 sons, Ron and Daniel, and Ron is married and I have 2 beautiful little granddaughters. I started to maybe put a big picture up of them, but you can just see me afterwards. They're on my cell phone. I'll be glad to show them to you. But they're beautiful. And I wanted to make sure that my boys growing up and as adults knew that I loved them no matter what. There was nothing they could do ever that would cause me not to love them, ever. I wanted it to be about their being, not their behavior. Now, they did a few things along the way that I was not really crazy about what they did, but I always made sure they knew that I loved them, because my mom never said, I love you. She loved me, but we just didn't have that kind of relationship. She didn't say, I love you. We didn't hug, and I'm a real big hugger. I love to hug, and I've always been that way with my sons. And even to this day, grown, if they're both at the house and I'm sitting in the recliner, they come get in the chair with me. Now that's sweet, but my legs go numb. And now Lola, my granddaughter, says, "Move, Daddy, move." So, I didn't want to live, and I felt ugly, and I felt like I wasn't wanted. But I went around with a smile on my face, and I was a good little Baptist girl, good little girl. I had religion down pat. I did the, walk the walk, talk the talk, never missed anything. Went to every meeting, because I felt like as long as I was good enough and did enough, that it'd be okay and God would hang around. But if I messed up, he was going to leave because, people in my life had left. And then I got into therapy with a Christian therapist, and her name is Elizabeth. Well, she's Elizabeth Cagle now, and that's when God saved my life. That's when he turned things around for me. She taught me the character of God, and the character of God is that he loves me no matter what. No matter what. Doesn't matter what I look like, what I do, what I don't do. When he died on the cross, he died for me, and he loves me. And the really cool thing is that I don't want to die anymore. I want to live. Some days at work with Kim, that does come back up again, but love you. Can I have tomorrow off? No, I'm just kidding. So I don't want to die anymore. And see, God intervened. And since he's intervened, my life has been a journey that I would not trade anything for. Anything. If you don't know anything else when you leave here tonight, just know that he loves each one of you. And he died for each one of you. And when he looks at us, he sees us complete. He doesn't see what we see when we look in the mirror. He doesn't see all the things that we feel like we have to hide in our hearts, and, that our hair's not right, and, I've gained some weight. He doesn't see that. He sees in here. He sees our heart, and he sees us complete in him. Even before we get to be with him, he sees us as complete beings in him. And he loves me, and he says that I'm beautiful. So I decided to embrace the fact that I'm 6 foot tall and all that stuff. I'm involved in a ministry called Impact, and we help wounded women come and tell their stories and be heard, and we do exercises and some teaching, and we minister to them. And one of the things that happened to me a few years ago was while I was ministering, the Lord whispered in my ear, I'm on the team, and he said, "You need to go pick that lady up and rock her." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And he said, "You need to go pick her up and rock her." And I'm like, "Right now?" And now? And I just felt such a strong sense that that's what I was supposed to do. So I did. And I put her in a rocking chair, and I rocked her. And she wept. She cried. Yeah. She cried and just wept and wept. And she said, "Nobody ever held me. And I don't remember ever being rocked by my mom. Never." And so God said, if you were 4'4" or 4'5" and a little tiny thing, you couldn't have done that. So I'll redeem what the enemy has tried to destroy you with. I'll redeem who you are. And just remember, and I struggle. I'm not saying I got it all together, because I really don't. And some days are rougher than others. I prayed for snow last night so we could cancel again. It did not snow. So I would like to end with this verse, and it's Isaiah 62:3. And it says, "You shall also be so beautiful and prosperous as to be thought of as a crown of glory and honor in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem, exceedingly beautiful, in the hand of your God." Thank you.